product manager at landing jobs. How did I arrive in the product management world? Well, that is a question I really don't have an answer to. I really have no clue how I got here. I could wrap up the story of my life by, well, I wanted to be a violinist. I couldn't do it. I wanted to be a doctor. I couldn't do it. First it was talent, and then it was hard work. So those was two important lessons for me. I ended up in a consultant world where well, I understood that technology was making a difference, but we're mostly doing the wrong stuff. We were really good at doing the things right, but really bad at doing the right things. And that's how I got into product management. That's a wrap up of my life so far. So when it
I
comes
think
to,
if I can just interrupt, I think it's an interesting. I'm curious. Did you join from within a company, or how did you end up with the job in product?
well, as a consultant, I began to be more of a manager. So I had these clients and we had these projects for them. So most of my product management skills come from that experience. But then I joined a startup that, well, failed really strongly. So
Successfully failed, huh?
yeah, yeah. And then came this experience at landing job. So as a product manager, I only have two different projects in my life.
Cool. Sounds cool. Thank you.
So I was wanting to share my screen with you. Hope you guys can see the right stuff.
We can see the stuff. You know, if it's the right stuff.
Well, it says how to land a job in product, digging landing jobs databases. So
That's the right.
I did some data research on our database. Well, it's pretty significant in Portugal. It's quite significant in Spain, in Germany, in the Netherlands. So as a sample, I think it's a good one, and it's one that I trust. So I think you'll find some of these data interesting for product managers and especially for people that is starting product management. So the first thing that I looked at was how the jobs are going in product management. And as you can see here, from 2014, we have seen a major growth in jobs in product, which is mainly product owner and product manager jobs. So I think for someone starting in this industry, it's quite good news. There are more jobs now than ever, and this is the ratio per tech jobs. So landing jobs is only in the tech job industry. So this is comparing. We have right now almost 12%. This is comparing to backend, full stack, data science, and whatnot. But also talent has been growing. So our database right now has almost 180,000 talent users. From those, more than 20% are product owners or product managers and stuff like that. So is this good or not? This couldn't be. Perhaps it's bad news for someone starting. There's too much people in the business. Well, I didn't find it so. If you look here, you'll see that there's now less people per product job than there was in 2014. So there's a lot of demand and there's a lot of offer. So by now, I'm convinced that product management is a cool place to be right now. And you can see it here too, that our jobs that are related to product have been gaining attraction from the community. So when a new job in product is posted, you can see a surge of interest in those jobs. Salary, everybody, it's the elephant in the room every time. So I cannot see anything different from the average between all other jobs. There are some jobs that are really well paid. Product management perhaps isn't one. Comparing to those very well paid jobs. However, in the tech industry is a cool place to earn well. So and the salaries have been growing just like the average from all other tech job roles. The seniority required for product jobs, you can see here that typically junior jobs in product aren't very common. That may be bad news for someone starting, but however, and I'm pretty sure we are going to talk about this later. Most of product talent come from other areas, so they already have some kind of professional experience. That was my case. So I was never like a junior product manager. I just became a product manager with all the baggage that came with me. Well, I have these thumbs down here. These are the top skills for product jobs. And the thumbs down is for two things. The first, well, I think this workload is just horrible, looks really bad, so bad that I couldn't resist putting it here. But also, I see skills that I really don't think are related to product management. And I think that perhaps there's a question that we could discuss here about whether do employers know what product management really is. So that's it. But however, you can see that if you put agile in your resume, you're good to go as a product manager. That's a big one. Project manager, team leadership, Scrum. Well, that's it. Another thing that we have been doing that I really like it is the Tech Professional Happiness Index. So we've been surveying the community to understand how they're feeling, what's their levels of professional satisfaction through time. So we can measure it today and 2 months later, but also as a community, so we can get averages. And product people that answered this survey, and I'm talking about hundreds, I cannot really be precise here, but I think 300 people in product management. We've got this distribution where there's 4 main chapters that they attribute their satisfaction to. Being the first one being life-work balance. And then there are these dimensions like salary, of course, evolution, career, and the challenge. Okay, so this is what is driving product people. So regarding the main block, which is the life-work balance, and this is quite, I think you can make some assumptions regarding the moment that we are living in right now. But these are the things that they found most important. The first one being being autonomous, managing their own hours, working remote, goal-driven evaluations, performance assessments. And I think this is probably an important message for employers. I find that it's been hard for me as a product manager to move into the remote work thing. There's so much stuff that I like to do in the office, and now it's much harder. But still, well, most product managers are looking for this. So I think the world has to move on and understand that this is the way to go. And this one, happiness and resilience. So I couldn't find product managers to be happier than the rest of the tech professionals. They're just there like the average of this industry. However, I do find them to be less resilient. And what does this mean? It's their ability to be happy regardless of their professional situation. So we find them that they are very their happiness, their personal happiness is very dependent on their only professional, their career stuff. So I think you can also make some assumptions from these, like perhaps product managers are really engaged to their job, so they're more affected. I don't know, another topic for discussion that we could have here. So and they're not happy with their jobs, and that's a problem. So I think employers should really rethink these. Perhaps we can go back a few slides and to what employers think product management is. But there's lots of detractors in product management regarding their jobs. So they wouldn't advise their friends to have their own job. Obstacles in career evolution, and there's a winner here. There's a big winner. It's the lack of career mentorship. I think Andre might have lots to talk about this issue here. Yeah, and the rest is not a close second. Well, the challenge is important for product people. We have seen that. And I find it really interesting that the dimensions that people find most appealing when it comes to challenge are the ones that typically appear in the books as what the product manager is. So really engaged to the vision and mission of the product, of their company. It's a job of teamwork, so they have to be thrilled by doing teamwork, and a product manager decision typically has a very big impact in the company. So that's a good thing in the good days. That's a bad thing in the bad days. Yeah, so that's what I had. I think I tried to occupy my slot exactly. But I think there's a lot to talk about. If you guys want to, I don't know if we're going to talk about these topics. If not, well, I'm available as always. So where did I get these? I got these from Landing Jobs, of course. I got these from the Happiness Index I told you about. If you haven't yet answered the survey, I urge you to do so. You'll find out if you need some counseling or not, if you it's time to go to the shrink. And also the Tech Careers Report, which is a very long study that we make every year. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cool, thank you, Pedro. That was really insightful, and definitely some topics to discuss later on. Was there anything that you personally found surprising? Like for me, the NPS was really a surprise, to be honest.
Um, I wasn't expecting life-work balance to be the most important dimension for their
Mm.
happiness otherwise. Um, but yeah, I have my theories. I would like to hear about yours about that.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks for that. We will have a chat more towards the end. Yes. So I think that now we can move forward with one of our other guests, which is Andre. He's the CEO at Productized and one of our partner for the product management course. Thanks again for joining, Andre.
Sure. Thanks for inviting me, and you can see that Pedro is a product manager and not a politician by the way that he designs his charts, right? It's like there's huge gap between the how much money you're making and the top of the chart. So you can be making 70K per year, but you know, if you have like 150K or 200K ceiling, it looks that it's not so much, but it is actually a very well paid profession on average. Okay, so let me share my screen, and I'll try not to compete too much against strippers, but if they happen to come online, we'll be here to
Well, not
welcome them.
not an easy challenge, but I heard that
Not an easy challenge. I
product
cannot
managers like
promise you too
challenges.
much stripping on my side, but let's see how it goes. All right, so stripping down my career a little bit. So I started working as a product manager and on Huawei, which is a Chinese company. Actually, before that, I used to work for Nokia for a while, and then I co-founded a startup accelerator. I worked on that startup accelerator for several years, and you know, it was a huge ride, helping some companies grow and see companies like Landing Jobs get born as well. And in 2015, I realized that, you know, startups were great, but we were lacking product management training and product management people. And lots of what was happening inside the startup world was really that we didn't have lots of knowledge of, you know, product building. And that was really the biggest challenge. So I've co-founded Productized, and last year we did this partnership with Wild Code School to create this coding, you know, Europe's leading coding school, to create this product management course. So Productized happens to organize, at least until 2019, a big annual immersive hands-on experience for product people. So that was a really great way for product people to get together and to, you know, vent a little bit, have all their, you know, all these people together. Was really an awesome moment. We moved online, and we were really lucky, and we are lucky, I guess, to have attendees from leading companies like Netflix and Facebook and all these people under the same room in the same event. So we now have two product courses. One is an introductory course, which is 45 hours training course with Católica. And of course, we have the product management course, product manager course for people that really want to get into the career. That's a 5 months long, 320-hour training in partnership with Wild Code School. And that's really the course that we are promoting right now. So taking stock of what Pedro was also presenting and talking about, let me tell you a little bit about how to land a job in product. We have this idea, and most recruiters, when recruiting for a PM, sometimes they aim for the perfect PM. So they want to have someone that understands the market. They want to have someone which is customer centric. They want people that are responsible for building and maintaining relevant and profitable products, that excel at stakeholder management, that are great doing communication, that know Kanban and Agile and all that. So you have seen that big word cloud that Pedro was showing us, that because that's what they want. They want everything, right? Great business, great product person, great industry person, great technical person. But well, the bad news, maybe the good news for you guys, but the bad news for the companies is that the perfect PM does not exist. So essentially what we need is people with product mindset, right? So different people, different stages of the career, different stages of the product path will have different skills or be better at different aspects. So you might be great at leadership if you are, or you need to be great at leadership if you want to have a more senior product leadership position. But if you're starting in the career, you're not expected to be a great leader yet, right? So you're expected to have other kind of skills, like maybe a little bit of design and UX, maybe know a little bit of, prioritization, and absolutely be curious, absolutely have a market sense and have a user sense as well, right? But you're expected to develop this as you go on your career. And you also have to keep in mind there are different product roles. So you have product owner roles, you can have more product management or product or project management role, more of a business role, and so on. And those different product roles imply that you're going to have a very active life. So most product managers will say that, there's no day which is the same day, because one day you might be speaking with the legal team, one day you might be speaking with the finance team or the sales team, or doing research, or you might be organizing and orchestrating the marketing launch and the product launch with the marketing team. So, and of course, most of the days you're going to speak with the development team and doing lots of things that are different from day to day. So I guess the question that you guys have is onboarding into a product role. How do I do that? So I think the first question is, what's your background? The second question is, are you applying the product manager mindset to your job already? Independent or regardless of, is it a product management job or not? Are you studying to become a product manager, or have you defined a path of study, of research, of training yourself, getting networking with product managers in other companies, or people that happen to be product managers that or inside your city or community that you want to relate to? Have you started to rewrite your CV, building a product portfolio maybe, and of course applying to product roles? And then I think the last one is really interesting, which is discovering opportunities for digital transformation, innovation, new product initiatives inside the company, and pitch yourself inside the company, especially if it's a product company. So what's your background? So if you are a developer, or if you're coming from marketing, or even sales, customer support, whatever it is, you might want to go into product. And then, of course, you have to take into consideration if you are a recent grad, if you are doing a startup, if you are in a digital agency environment, where are you, right? Where are you in your career ladder, like Pedro was speaking about? So he didn't just happenstance to be a product manager. He had his wholesale product experience, and then he ended up becoming a product manager and ended up becoming a product manager. So if you are working on marketing, lots of people we have in our course happen to be working on marketing or marketing related jobs. That might be a way to go into product marketing management position, or even a product management position. Some of the skills that you want to learn are data-driven decisions, customer discovery techniques, Agile, Scrum, Kanban, or at least get familiarized with that, of course. Lots of people, the paths would be being a developer or an engineer and becoming a product owner. Not necessarily a product manager per se, although that might be a possibility as well. So in that case, you of course you need to be versed into Agile and Scrum and all those techniques, but you also need to get to know a little bit of digital marketing skills, data-driven and analytical skills and customer discovery techniques. Now, if you are a project manager, so I guess this is probably the role that is still causing lots of disturbance in the product management market, because one, there's still inside lots of companies, there's still a very thin line. What is a project manager? What is a product manager? What is a product owner? So lots of confusion. And lots of companies that are understanding that the importance of product, or are going into a more product-centric culture, they are going and converting some of their project people into product people. And here, what we really want to know is, of course, Agile and Scrum, but also data-driven and lots of the customer discovery techniques that product managers need to be versed about. So applying the PM mindset to your job is the first step, because that means that you are an explorer, that you are a scientist, that you are a driver at the same time, and then productizing your CV. And let me just give you a couple of advice here. So you want to build a coherent story with a strong sense of direction. You might want to select a few with juicy and easy to demonstrate achievements that are not necessarily product management related, but are achievements in terms of how you see business, how you tackle marketing, how you tackle, development, if that's your background. You want to create examples showing this experience, right? And be able to talk about them in the interview. And then you want to provide context and avoid excessively technical terms, especially because product management is not expected to have a very, very strong technical background in most companies. So searching for product companies, of course, LinkedIn is an obvious possibility. And like Pedro said, we have a growing market. You are lucky to be in a market which is very bullish in most countries, at least in Europe and Americas. It's growing fast. So if you search for product owner, product manager, senior product manager, even junior product manager roles, you'll get lots of roles already. Glassdoor, and all other websites out there. There's really no specific good website to tell you about other than landing jobs, of course. That's a great way to start, especially if you are in Europe and in Portugal specifically. So my name is Andre. I'm one of the coordinators of the Wild Code School course, and we are really, really happy to help you get into product and hear the stories of our students. Thanks, Cosmin.
Awesome. Thank you, Andre. That was really, really cool. And thanks for sharing those insights. You already shared with some of our students. And speaking of which, we will move on to the next part of the event. And I will give the mic to Aya. And would love to hear about your experience in finding a job in product management. You're now an intern at Deco Group. If I remember correctly, that's about a month ago when you started. But I'll just let you tell us more about your journey, how you found the job, and maybe what your first challenge is.
Sure. Thank you, Cosmin. I actually have some super simple slides, if that could help, so I can share it. Let me share my screen. Let me find the right one. Okay, can you see it?
Yes.
Yeah, we can see it.
Awesome. Great. So I'll just, I will not repeat what Andre already said, because some of the things that he told, I actually put in my slides. But I will just share like my own experience in transitioning from project manager to product manager. Just quickly about myself, I have about 20 years of working experience in project management. My job was mostly focused on development, education, human rights work in NGOs and social enterprises. And I was always driven by the willingness to help people and I was always involved in the projects that were helping others. And this drive and curiosity actually brought me to product management field. And also when I moved to Berlin, it happened just a few months ago, I realized that actually finding a project management position here is much more difficult than to find a product management position. So I started to look into the opportunities in product management. What I work now is a huge company. It's called Adecco Group. Adecco Group based in Switzerland, and the area is a human rights and a temporary staffing firm. And my role is to support one of the products that helps to connect recruiters with job seekers. So where do we start? If you how I started it from reviewing my CV because I realized that was outdated. I did it a long time ago when I was studying in the US, and the format was super old school. I will show you later what was it looking like. And the other thing that I realized here is that you need to adapt it to the local context. For example, I spoke to people who worked here in Germany, and they told me that here recruiters prefer to have a picture of yourself on CV, which was really weird for me, but I mean, if you want it, I'll put it. And the other thing that you will need is to connect with the people from the field, especially like for people like me who are coming from the absolutely different experience and background. You will need to talk to people, you will need to talk to those who work in the field. And you will need to fully immerse yourself into product management, talk to PMs, listen to podcasts, read the books and articles, etc. And the other thing that I highlighted here is that when you're transitioning, especially, you need to start thinking like a PM and act as a PM. And actually, that was one of the things that was a little bit difficult for me to, in my head, to decide that, okay, from now on, I'm not a project manager anymore. I'm a product manager, even though I never worked as a product manager. And I changed the title on my LinkedIn. And I don't know what is magic or not, but I got my offer right after that. And speaking of CV, on the left side, you can see my first, exactly, Andrea is shocked. Yeah, that was what it looked like, bunch of words. I don't know if recruiters even looked at that. It was massive, as I said, including all my 20 words experience into one piece. Challenging, but I tried hard. And on the right side, you can see that I worked a little bit on it. I made it a bit prettier. I did not include my picture because I was stubborn still. But again, if it will be needed, then I'll do it. And one more thing that I added here is that I stopped introducing myself as a project manager, and I put here ahead, that was actually bold for me, that I'm product manager from now on. Cover letter matters, of course, as well. When I was applying for jobs, I made sure that there is a compelling story, that I will include information that cannot fit in that one page, bunch of words story. And to explain more why I want this position, why I'm motivated, especially with the detail that I never had experience of product manager. I had to explain why I'm transitioning and what I can bring to the table. That was really important. But as my experience showed, that there are some cases when your cover letter not even read, but it doesn't mean that you don't have to do it. So I made sure that I would add cover letter to all my applications, even though it was not needed. It was not required by job recruiter, by recruiter. But what was really important for me is that to understand when I was looking for job is that not only what you put on your CV or cover letter matters, but you in particular. Even though that my experience didn't actually show that I was a good, prospectively good product manager, my profile was interesting for my recruiters in particular. And how I knew it, I actually asked them like, why you were interested in my profile, why you chose me. And they told me that specifically job that I was doing, specifically my focus on human rights and wanting to know what they want and how to help them, that was actually drove them to choose my profile. And for me, it was something interesting to share and highlight this. So how to start? For me, again, as a person who never was in the background, never had the experience in product management, was to find the right course. I started with Coursera. It was a really interesting course. I can share it in the chat if you're interested in that. But this course actually helped me to prepare to get the Wild Code School product management course. And I would say that this course actually taught me a lot, and it helped me to find this job because all the theory that we were studying and approaches that we're studying, they actually helped me to kind of show that in the interviews, that I knew the vocabulary, that I am not a stranger to this field. So I would recommend that. And again, you will need to connect with product managers to help you. Again, to find the networking opportunities to the job opportunities. And how to do so, find friends. I found a couple through my connections and I talked to them a lot. On LinkedIn, actually, I had this story when a person connected me on LinkedIn and she was looking for a product management positions and we started chatting and we're still in a good connection. So now I'm giving her advice as how to get a job. And what next? Where to search? My number one place was LinkedIn. It's quite good. I think the filter doesn't work pretty perfect, but still it's good to start with. And I found my position actually on the Glassdoor, but I mean, all these positions that you find on LinkedIn, they actually can find them on Glassdoors, or you can be actually redirected to company website. So it doesn't really matter, but I think the LinkedIn so far is the great place to start with. And yeah, and if you landed to interview, that's a great step. That means that your profile is interesting for the job, for the recruiters. And the next step would be to prepare for the interview and do your best. Try to tell a compelling story about yourself. Of course, learn about the company and the values. I would go even further and find more about the recruiters so that we speak in the same language. Again, know the vocabulary, be positive, practice. And what helped me, actually, I asked help from Wild Code School to help me to prepare for the technical interviews. And the most important thing, of course, you might find yourself getting rejections from recruiters. It's painful, but still stay positive, learn by your mistakes, and actually use those mistakes to improve yourself for the future interviews. And I believe that there is always a perfect company in the perfect position for everyone. And yeah, good luck with that. That was all from my side. That's it. Good luck.
Thank you, Aya. Would you say you found the perfect company and perfect position, or you're still on the journey?
I will not disclose it. For me, it's perfect. Yes.
Okay, cool. Happy to hear that. Thanks for
Thank
sharing.
you.
Okay, if anybody has any questions, I'll just remind you to ask them in the chat. If not, we will have a small round table at the end, and maybe I can share the screen again. So our next speaker is Justine from France, also a student at Wild Code School and a product manager at Lovebox. She's a more recent product manager than Aya, if I remember correctly, about 2 weeks or so. But I will let Justine share about her journey.
Thanks, Cosmin. Hi, everybody. I'm happy to be with you tonight. So I'm Justine. I'm a fresh product manager in a startup called Lovebox. So we're making a connected object that allows people to communicate in a special ways in families with your parents, grandparents, lovers. And yeah, it went really well during the COVID period because people were looking for new communication ways. So what's, I don't have a fancy slides to present, but I'll try to keep it structured. So my background are very various, I would say. I won't talk about everything because I did a lot of different things, but I started my career as a product manager, but on physical products, just a year and a half ago. And unfortunately, the COVID arrived and I lost my job so a year ago. And then I started to get involved in a different digital project, and I realized I really liked it. And there was a lot of job opportunities in this field. So I took some information on the PM course, and actually it was a bit of a last minute that I joined the Wild Code School, but it was a really good decision. I wasn't sure at first if it was the good decision for me, but now I'm 100% sure it was. And here I am. I wasn't planning at all to find a job so early, but actually it happens. I was a bit lucky and also worked quite hard to get it. So yeah, it's just the perfect timing. So how did I do that? I randomly found an offer in my home city in this startup Lovebox that I knew before by name, and also I knew what they did, but I didn't know that they grew up so fast. So I applied, and first of all, I put a lot of myself in the application. On the cover letter, I tried to be the more sincere I could be. I tried to fit the most to the company's culture that I saw from the website, from the job offer, and it worked actually. And also on my CV, I put my product management skills and program and all that stuff on the top of it, so it can be, they can see it right away, because I think when you are changing your career, it can be sometimes difficult for the recruiter to see clearly what you're doing and what you're applying for and what you can give them actually. And yeah, so I put a lot of myself in this application and it worked. And actually the process was a bit long because I had the first interview that went well, and I applied the same philosophy. I just keep it myself, and actually I was really motivated for this job, and I really wanted it, and I think it was fitting perfectly with what I wanted. And then I had a technical use case which really made the difference, I think. And actually, with all I learned in the Wild Code School, I couldn't have done that without all I learned with the Wild Code School, especially on the UX experience. and the interviews and all that stuff. So once again, I put a lot of effort in it, and it worked again. And I had the final interview, which was the same. And now I'm here, and I think if you are convinced with what you want, and you just try, and you just go beyond your fears, it can work for anybody. And yeah, the Wild Code School gave me the confidence to do it. I would never have done that before, to apply to this kind of job, but actually just try to do it. And the only risk you have is that they don't reply to you, but it's not that much. I mean, with all the digital way we have now to apply easily, it's not a big risk. And I think that's it. And now I just started my position of product manager, which was on the job offer. It was a junior position, but actually I'm quite the only product manager in the team right now. So it's scary, but it's also really challenging, because I have to build my own way to work, kind of. So yeah, they give me that, they believe in me, but it's a bit scary. So
Cool. Thank you for sharing, Justine. And it sounds to me that you also found the perfect company for yourself. So that's really nice to hear. We have some questions, so maybe let's start with that, and feel free for anybody to jump in. I think we can move into the roundtable discussion right now. So we have Victor. Hey, Victor, nice to have you here. I think we've been in touch actually a bit, so I'm happy to see you here, and looking forward to see you on from September on. Do you want to ask the question yourself, or do you want me to read it? I can just okay. No? Okay, I'll read it then. Yeah, Victor is mentioning that he got admitted into the class for September. He has sales experience in his country before coming to Germany. I don't remember, to be honest, Victor, where you're originally from. But the question is, if you think that 5 months it's enough time to learn skills needed to adapt to life as a product manager for someone new in the industry. And I think probably the less biased, let's say, to answer that would be Aya and Justine. Of course, I can also give you my thoughts, and Andre, I'm sure you can also do the same. But what do you think, Justine? Is 5 months enough to? I mean, for you, it was less than 5 months actually to get a job, right? So that's part of the answer. But do you have anything to share on that?
Yeah, I think, as Andre said before, it's not really about the skills, but it's more about the mindset. And of course, you need to have basics in a different area, and the vocabulary, and understand what we're talking about and what they want from you. But yeah, I think it's enough if you are motivated and you really want to be in this field.
Cool.
And if I can add, I did my research, so I do lots of researches before I start something. So I did research on the product management courses, and I can tell you that it's the longest course I can find, especially here in our region in Europe. So yeah, first of all, it's the longest course I can find. Second of all, 5 months is enough even for me, starting from zero. So yeah.
Oh, thanks for sharing. And yeah, I think that's a good point. And it doesn't only apply to our product management courses, but basically to all our courses at Wild Code School. We have one of the longest, if not the longest, depending on the industry, courses. Most of the boot camps are somewhere around 2 months, while for us it's 5 months. And there's a simple reason for that, because we have it in our DNA. Basically, we don't see ourselves as a factory for tech talent, but we really want to help our students and assist them into changing careers, and not just give them the basics and that's it. So that's a bit on that. Andre, did you have anything to share on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's so the way I see it is a little bit like Pedro was talking about, which is, look, he jumped. Look, most people, 99.9% of product managers, they don't have any formal training, right? They don't have the chance of doing a 5-month course. They don't do a 1-month course. They might do something online or something, but that's it. And a few years ago, you didn't even have that, right? So you just hoped, or eventually you would be promoted, or you got a job into product. So the way I see it is, now you have some training opportunities, and like Aya said, this is probably one of the longest in Europe that you can take, that help you structure and get you into product. Now, the second comment that I have is exactly your experience. So you say you have a sales experience in your home country, so you have to leverage your strong points to your career, right? So Aya, she was a product manager. She was able to leverage her project management experience and kind of pivot into product management, but she didn't forget everything she knows about projects, right, Aya? And I guess just the same is happening to Justine. She didn't erase the years that she was working as customer at a sports company. So you need to leverage your experience, and now just focus on whatever you want to do next.
Great point, Andre. Thanks for sharing. I know that for you, Pedro, you haven't gone through the same the same setup. But I'm curious, how did you find getting your first job into product? Was there something specifically that you did or leveraged from your past?
Yes. So my first job, I had the industry covered because I had been working on that industry for a long time, so I knew it quite well. When I accepted that job, I had 2 weeks before I started, so I had a 2-week crash course. That well, for me, it was basically reading the Lean Startup by Eric Ries. I don't know if you guys know about it. It's great. And I read the Innovator's Dilemma. So those two books were my theoretical part in
Yeah.
product management.
Yeah, same story. So when I was wanting to go into product, that was 12 years ago maybe, I spoke with my boss, and he actually offered me a copy or asked me to buy the classic from Marty Kagan, the book, right? So that's what I did. I read the book, and I was like, oh, this is great. Can I be a product manager? And that's how it started. But that was a long time ago. So I think we have a very different landscape nowadays. You have lots of meetups, even virtual like this. So there's so many, like lots of great courses, free courses online as well, online resources. We have a YouTube channel on Productized as well. So just try to look into those first before you do the final decision.
Cool. Thanks for that. And I think you had or there was a question for Justine about the tech challenge. What was the tech challenge about?
The tech challenge was what they call the use case. So they actually gave me a love box, the connected object, and I had to use it to determine the 3 most problem on it and on the app, and then to give solution to those problems, to write the user stories, to translate the solution, and then to define KPIs to measure the impact of the change.
Okay, very honest question. No pressure, but do you feel that the fact that we had covered some of those things during the course helped you, design your strategy to that answer?
Yeah,
To that answer.
100%, because it was just after the UX course. And actually what I did is I didn't do it myself, but I wrote a script and I asked people to use it, to use the app, and then I interviewed them.
Mm-hmm.
And I just applied the whole method, and
Right.
I would never have done that without the course, for sure.
Right.
So
Super
yeah,
happy about it. So that was something surprising for them, right? Because they thought, oh, she really cares about the customer. Most candidates would just jump into their own conclusions and say, oh, I have this genius idea for your product, right?
yeah, exactly. Really helped me.
How long did you have to prepare the tech challenge?
I had the week to do it, and actually I spent the week on it because I asked people and then I interviewed them, and then I had to summarize everything. So yeah, but it was really interesting, and I also asked help to Isabel, our UX teacher, and to Louis as well for the user story. So yeah, great help.
Oh, happy to hear. Let's maybe I'm curious to get back a bit at the beginning of the event. We were talking about the life work balance as being one of the most important things for PMs. What's your take, not necessarily on that? Like, what's most important for you? What gets you excited about this job? Aya and Justine.
For me, I think it's the feeling of growth and challenge. I really like this feeling. The second is working in a team, and now I can tell that it's 100% working in a team. It's not just coming with a task. When I was a project manager, for example, I was coming with a task, with a planned activities, and I was saying, okay, you guys have to deliver this by this deadline. Now it is completely different experience. Everyone makes an impact. Everyone brings something to the table. Everyone may take part of in discussion, and it's actually amazing because you don't feel alone, and you don't feel that you have all the pressure of the responsibilities. And it feels amazing. Yeah, and the work-life balance for now as a mentor, it's quite good because no one asks so much from me, but I can see how other people work, and it's rewarding for me because they can stay at work until 8 p.m. all the time on the calls. I hope that is just their decision, so we'll see. I'll keep you posted.
Okay, for sure. What about you, Justine? What's most important?
For me, the most important is teamwork, as Aya said, and also working with a lot of different people in different services like customer care, developers, also operations, a lot of different teams, and I really like that. Like, you're always doing different things, interacting with different people on different subjects, and yeah, nothing is boring. And also, as I'm in a startup that is growing, everybody is committed in only one objective, and it's really challenging and make you feel challenged and motivated all the time.
Great, thanks for sharing. Pedro, we were discussing about the NPS and why why according to the results, not a lot of PMs would recommend this job to their friends. I'm curious, what's your theory behind that, or why do you think that is?
Well, I think part of it has to do with the nature of the job itself. So product managers have really to learn to have thick skin because, well, if it goes right, it's everybody's victory. If it goes wrong, the product manager did something wrong. So that's part of it. I think that makes difficult for product managers to fit in. Also, that companies tend to say, and I speak about companies as an entity. So that big animal that a group of people build together without knowing it, and they normally tell us that they're very customer centric, so they're really into the user. But when it comes down to, sometimes decisions aren't made that way. Also, product managers are always in a fight to pushing their product mindset, which is very different from what some companies have, that they have these ideas of what should be and what shouldn't based on their guts. So I think it's a hard job. So you have to have thick skin, that's one. And also I think fight your own imposter syndrome. So you won't be a perfect product manager ever. You are going to make so many mistakes. You are going to have to rely on a lot of people to cover up for your own weaknesses. And so this takes a lot of emotional intelligence and strength. And so that's my feeling towards what I think is happening to a lot of people in the industry, that they really have to deal with this stuff. And it's up to them, you know. So I think a part of the courses that you take, and I would like to have one on that, is to know how to stress out, you know, vent your stress, and do some yoga or something like that. Well, I would like to learn a few of those methods. It would
You can
help me a
dance.
lot.
You should have like a dancing class with Aya. Maybe
Yeah,
it's a
exactly.
business idea for product managers. Dancing for product managers. Okay, well, I'm taking notes.
Cool. Thanks, Pedro, for sharing. I won't ask Aya and Justine, but just because they're just starting, and I hope they would still recommend other people to join the career as a product manager. And I hope that will stay the same. Maybe it will change in a couple of years, but I hope. And then, as far as I know you two, I think
Yeah,
it's.
but I think there's something here people need to know. Maybe they know it, right? But look, if you want to get into tech, lots of people ask, "Hey, how do I get into tech?" So you know, obviously, people want to get into tech because it's a good ground for solid, pretty well paid careers. So one, you can go into code, you can be a developer, but if you're not into that, then you can either go to design or UX or data or product, right? So it's one of the possibilities. What surprises me is that lots of people this was not even in their radar, because they thought, oh, I want to go into tech, but I don't want to code, I don't know how to code. So obviously they could do the coding school. If you don't want to do the coding school, if you don't want to go through the pain of learning how to code, or you think that's just something you don't want because you don't relate to, then maybe product is what you're looking for, and give it a try.
Would you yourself recommend your friends to get into product, Andre?
Look, I haven't been doing anything else for the last 12 years or so, right? So that's really what I believe in. I did it myself. I'm not regretting. I think that it's a great way to get into tech. What we don't know about Pedro's data is the other side of the fence, right? We don't know the NPS for software engineers. We don't know the NPS for data analysts. So I would love to see those and to compare them with product. And I would be surprised if those are much better than product. So I'm actually betting that product, at the end of the day, yes, it's a high stakes. Yes, you have to be accountable. Yes, you have high visibility to the board, to the directors, to the CEO, whoever is going to see your work. And chances are people in the higher ranking of the company are going to see your work. But I'm convinced it's still a fairly good NPS compared to the rest.
Well, that's a great point, and I think we have the topic of our next event: how to get into tech, a comparison between web dev, data, and product. So keep tuned, and then you'll see that soon online, and then you'll be able to join us for that. We have a good question on the chat. Not that the rest were not good questions, but this also is interesting. For those, so first of all, hey Lucille, nice to have you over. Lucille is pivoting from project management as a film producer slash product manager. So a bit similar with Aya, although of course I'm sure there are enough differences there. The question is for those who are getting into product from another industry, how necessary is to build a portfolio to get an associate slash junior PM role? And are hackathons a good way to build this portfolio? Andre, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I don't think portfolios per se are really one of those critical barriers. So you might want to do that. Hackathons, startup events, startup weekend events are great. I think hackathons might be a little bit too hardcore for if you want to do product management, because they tend to be very code centric. So I would go into events where you meet people that are coding, that are designing, that are doing marketing, whatever it is, and you bring your own perspective and you try to be the product manager role inside that squad that is going to develop the product. So yes, you can do it that way. And building a portfolio is one of the ways, but I don't think it's actually the most critical way. But that's just my take.
Cool. Anybody else has any thoughts on that? I know Aya was mentioning also that it's not so crucial. What are your thoughts, Aya?
Yeah, I just sharing the chat, but it's just my personal experience that in my particular position, I didn't need any previous experience, not any formal courses, but it did help me actually. It did help to get through the technical interview and adapt quickly. And especially now when I'm still learning, but at the same time having a job, it helps me a lot. It's just the best combination that you can have, course and practicality.
Great, thanks for sharing. I see that Paolo started writing something. I don't know if you still want to finish the question, Paolo. If anybody else has any other questions, please write them in the chat. We will wrap up in a couple of minutes, so probably last question or two. Okay, I think we can. I will just share a bit about our program, and then in the meanwhile, if there's other questions, we will take them at the end. So
yeah, I would love to hear from Lionel, because he was brave enough to have the camera turned on all the time, and now I'd love to understand why he's here with us, and if he has any specific question or something. Just want to share what he's doing, why he's here today.
Hey, thanks, Andre.
Sure.
I'm actually not here to be interested by the training of product management. I'm a new recruit to the Wild Code School, and so I wanted to learn a bit more about the aftermath of the training and to help people understand when they will ask me a question about it. So yeah, just a curious one here, lurking around. So,
well, we'll see how we get you more interested into product development. But for now, it's nice to have you in the Wild team.
Thanks.
And thanks for joining. Cool. So we discussed, in our chats, I and Justine was sharing about briefly some parts of the training. I'll just give you the brief overview as well. Of course, I will share the link where you can find all the details and where you can apply as well. But we're talking about a part-time program because as we saw, most of the people that go into product management have some background, and it's not uncommon that people still are working or have other projects on the side. I think if we compare to maybe web development, for example, where we have people that don't leverage as much their background, I think that's a bit different for the product course. So we have a part-time course. It is 2 days a week on Tuesday and Thursday. This current session is on Monday and Wednesdays. It's 3 days. It's 3 hours every day, and then there is a full Saturday every 2 weeks. And we're going to start in September, on 13th of September. Again, looking forward to have you in the new session, Victor. It's going to be for 5 months, so that means that it will end in the beginning of February next year. A total of 320 plus hours, and we do this together with Productized. And the reason for that is pretty simple. We know that for the product management course, you need a bit of everything in that sense. So you need knowledge from different fields, and that's the reason basically why we teamed up, because obviously Productized is best at product. They know this. They have been working with this for years now. So that's their main asset, and then that's where they excel at. So everything from user research to product metrics and in between. So that's on the product side, and of course for us at Wild Code School, this is a newer program that we do. We started, and our expertise is, our bigger expertise is still in web development and data. So that's how the match is made. Basically, we bring the best on terms of methodology and the infrastructure, to say so, as well as introduction to technical aspects in dev and coding and data, and then Productized covers the rest, which you can basically see here. So there are 4 main areas. We're looking at designing a user-centered product, developing the tech skills, business and marketing for product managers, and developing the professional skills. For this session, but also for the next one, of course, apart from all the lessons and from the teachers that are there are a lot of guest speakers. Productized is always having podcasts and other interesting speakers that we invite over. So there's a lot of opportunities to build a network and to also get insights from people in the industry. We also have a couple of financing options. The price for the course for the 5 months is $4,500. There is an early bird discount until end of July for 10% discount. And there is also a mistake on my slides, because the 5% discount is until the end of August, not end of May, because that will be a bit impossible. So for that, you can get a discount by the end of August. Or you can also pay in installments, 3 or 5 installments without any commission. And we also have some financing options depending where you are. For them, unfortunately, we don't have it everywhere because different regulations and other things like that. But there are funding options available in Portugal, in Germany, and in Spain, where you can.
So you have the ESA model now available in Portugal with Fundação José Neves, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So
Exactly.
that means that students basically, can you just explain for people that don't know, they're not familiar with the ISA model, how does it work?
Sure. So it basically means that you pay when you get a job. That's the the basic principle, to say so. You get sort of a loan, and then when you get a job above a certain threshold of income, you start paying back the loan for a set period of time, and it's usually a percentage of your salary. So it's not a fixed repayment that you do, but of course there is a cap. So if you land into what we saw from Pedro into 150k range, you won't be paying, you won't be end up paying 150k for sure, or not even close. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. And then finally, we also have a couple of scholarships available for the regions in Europe where I think they are probably needed, or at least welcome for sure. So for Southern Europe, we have 5 scholarships of 1,000 euros. So that includes Spain, Portugal, Italy, Greece, or Malta. And then for Eastern Europe residents, we have 3 scholarships of 2,000 euros each. And that is for the countries listed there, Bulgaria, Croatia, and so on. So we have a lot of opportunities to get financing for the training and to start your career into web development, into product management, sorry. How to apply is quite easy. You just go to our site and click apply now. You select the course and you're ready to go. There are 3 steps for the application process. There is a motivational interview after you register online, of course, and then there is a tech interview, which is preparing a case study, basically. Probably not to the extent of the real job interview, because obviously you don't have the skills yet, but something to start with. And of course, if you have other questions, I'll be happy to take them. And I will take now a look at the chat. And it seems like Lucille is already connecting with everybody. So that's great. I will then just paste you here the link where you can apply to our course. And I hope to see you for our other events, maybe for the next one that we just planned today in this event. Thanks everybody for joining, and I wish you a great evening.
Thanks everyone.
Thank you too.
Have a good day. Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye, guys.